prepare yourselves. The Black Desert THSEA Major Weekly Update for November 13, 2025 is here, and it looks set to really shake up the meta.
It really does.
Which class got the biggest buff? Did that terrifying new boss finally arrive? And what event should we absolutely prioritize for the best loot?
Yeah, lots of questions.
We are diving deep into this week's massive 1.71 gigabyte patch, and trust me, there are some, well, hidden bombs in these notes that will change how you play and how you farm for the next few months.
Welcome to the deep dive. And yeah, that prompt, it sets a high bar, but let's get specific. Our mission today is really about precision planning for you.
Go ahead.
This 1.71 gigabyte update dated November 13th, 2025, it's less about, sweeping new zones or flashy world bosses.
Right, didn't see a new continent drop or anything.
No, exactly. It's more focused on critical system refinements, things aimed squarely at a high-end PvP structure, and maybe even more importantly, a massive injection of high-value economic and enhancement events. Stuff players need to jump on immediately.
Right. So we've compiled the data from the main update announcement, which covers those structural changes. Plus, we dug into the separate details for Shikatu's boxes.
Which are wild.
And the support events, the Pearl spending rewards, and that harvest sale that's running.
This is a lot of different pieces.
Yeah, so we're distilling all of that down into, like, an actionable weekly plan for you. Understanding the new commitment needed for high-end stuff, finding the biggest profit spikes, and figuring out the best way to use your saved silver and pearls.
Okay, so where do we start? I think, to begin, we absolutely have to analyze the single largest systemic overhaul in this patch. That's the revolution hitting Adana's authority.
Okay, let's unpack this Adana's authority revamp.
Yeah.
Now, for listeners who maybe don't participate in this super high-stakes PvP, this is that system where, really powerful players challenge for prestige and the ability to collect tax from certain grind zones. Right?
That's the one. Prestige and profit.
But the old system, it sounds like it was fundamentally broken.
Yeah.
What was the core problem they were trying to fix here?
Okay, yeah, the old system suffered from a massive inefficiency problem. It really came down to low-cost, low-commitment registration.
How so?
Imagine, like, a really prized parking spot everyone wants, right? But the registration is so easy, people sign up just to block others, even if they have zero intention of actually parking there.
Okay. So people were just clogging the system.
Exactly. Players could register as challengers just to lock out genuine contenders, artificially congesting the whole challenge pool. And worse, the current Adana, the person holding the castle, they were automatically registered for defense.
Which sounds convenient, but...
But it often led to no-shows, anticlimactic results. The whole thing lacked teeth. It really needed commitment, maybe some monetization, and definitely severe penalties for wasting everyone's time.
Okay, so enter this new item, the evidence of Adana's challenge. How does this enforce that commitment? Because now even the current Adana has to get and use this thing. That seems like a big shift from just sitting back and waiting.
It creates an active gate. Before, yeah, the reigning Adana could just chill, wait for challenges. Now, if they want to participate in their own defense battle, they have to actively use the evidence of Adana's challenge item for their specific castle.
What if they don't?
If they fail to use it, they simply forfeit their right to defend. Poof! The position opens up. This really raises the bar for just holding the title. You have to be active, ready to commit resources, even just to keep what you have.
And for the challengers, there's a new rule about exclusivity too, right? You can't just collect these titles like stamps anymore.
Precisely. If you're already, say, the Adana of a lower-tier castle, and you successfully challenge a different, maybe higher-tier castle, you automatically vacate your previous throne. Gone.
Okay, so it forces a choice.
Yeah, this mechanism makes sure the system is about climbing the ladder towards that single most prestigious spot, not just hoarding minor titles. It keeps those lower slots flowing and makes success a really high-stakes, kind of all-or-nothing deal when it comes to prestige.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, one of the big quality of life updates here, and this felt overdue, addresses accessibility. The old way, having to physically travel to the Edenay Castle just to set your APDP requirements, that felt kind of punitive.
Oh, it was absolutely an unnecessary barrier. We're talking about players with top-tier gear. They want instant access to competitive stuff. Dragging them across the map was just annoying.
So how does it work now?
That's gone. Eliminated. Challengers can now set their desired APDP requirements directly through a nice, clean UI. You access it via the ESC menu under War, which is F7.
Look better.
Yeah, it removes all that friction, makes the prep process instantaneous, lets you focus purely on the strategy, not the travel time.
All right, now let's talk about the teeth. The deterrent. This is where the patch gets serious, right? The penalty for not showing up sounds like it's designed to hit high-end players right where it hurts. Their schedule.
This is the absolute critical mechanism. This is what solves that trolling registration problem we talked about. If a challenger gets selected, whether it's for that initial 10-person preliminary fight or the final 1v1 duel and they are a no-show, they face a staggering penalty.
How staggering.
They get banned from participating in the next 4 Adana's Authority events.
4 events. Wow. Given the weekly cycle, that's basically a month. A whole month locked out of the most important structured PvP in the game. What does that mean for a guild trying to stay on top or, climb the ranks?
It's potentially devastating. For top PvP guilds, 4 winks is an eternity. It means their star player, maybe their main challenger, is completely sidelined. This isn't just a slap on the wrist, it's a real strategic setback. It's designed to build complete trust in the system. If you sign up, you must be ready to fight. Otherwise, you risk long-term marginalization. It dramatically cleans up the selection process.
But there's a key exception here, isn't there? The current Adana, the Defender, they don't get hit with this 4-week ban if they fail to show. Why make that distinction?
Yeah, that's important. The penalty is focused purely on the challengers who might abuse the registration. If the current Adana fails to participate, maybe by not using their required challenge item, the system doesn't really collapse.
Okay.
The title just becomes vacant, or it's taken by the successful challenger if there is one. There's no registration abuse happening on the defender side in that scenario. So the penalty is laser focused on making sure that pool of 10 selected challengers are all serious contenders, not just placeholders.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, shifting gears slightly to the economics of this. We know that evidence of Adana's challenge item drops in those high-end grind zones. Now, if you're a PvE-focused player and you get this drop, previously it was just trash, right? Vendor trash.
Pretty much, yeah. A pittance, that's changed significantly now.
How so?
This is a really excellent liquidity boost for PvE grinders. The evidence of Adana's challenge item now has an explicit merchant sell price, 30,000 silver.
30 million. Wow, 30 mil.
Yep. And critically, you have to sell it within its 24-hour usage period. So if you're a player grinding out there, maybe in Tenebram or Jephoris, and you have zero interest in the PvP duel aspect, that drop is now a guaranteed 30 million silver.
30 million silver for a single drop is pretty substantial. It immediately kind of monetizes that high-end PvP activity for everyone, even if they don't compete. How does that stack up against other high-value unique drops?
Oh, it puts it firmly in the high-tier unique drop category. It's comparable to some of the rarer enhancement materials or, valuable artifact fragments. It basically transforms those Edenai grinding zones into guaranteed higher profitability spots, especially when you factor in the Debreka buffs we're definitely going to talk about later.
Right.
It stabilizes the drop table, ensures a baseline value even if you don't get the super rare accessory drop. It's actually a pretty smart way to incentivize grinding in those tough zones without forcing PvP participation.
Okay. And just before we move on from Idana, let's circle back to the quality of life for the person actually holding the title, the reigning Idana. The financial transparency improvements sound like a big deal for managing gold funds.
Absolutely. Yeah, the whole system is now integrated into the ESC menu, which is nice. But the real power is the world map integration.
What is that, Joe?
The current Idana can now see the accumulated tax from the previous week directly on the world map. Just press M. This gives you real-time financial tracking. Guild leaders can immediately see the benefit of holding that territory without digging through clunky menus. It's exactly the kind of info management needs for, strategic decisions.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That whole structural change really sets the stage.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears now, moving from high-stakes territory control to the immediate feel of combat, the adjustments and class readability fixes. Right. This section has a huge, almost philosophical change for competitive play. The CC visibility standardization. Why did the devs feel the need to basically override player graphic settings for certain crowd control effects? What was going on there?
This targets a really persistent, kind of subtle form of competitive imbalance. See, in a game like Black Desert, visual clarity is just everything, especially in PvP.
Right.
Previously, players could intentionally lower their optimal effects value setting, ostensibly to reduce visual clutter, improve performance maybe, but unfortunately it often meant that key hostile CC effects, think like a warrior's grab or a wizard's flame knot, they become practically invisible, especially during chaotic fights like 1vx or huge node wars.
So it wasn't really about performance optimization, it was more like exploiting visual ambiguity. You could gain an edge by making your opponent's crucial CC skills just vanish in the noise.
Exactly, hit the nail on the head. This change is all about ensuring fair play. The patch notes are specific. High-impact crowd control skill effects, grabs, throws, knockdowns, that sort of thing, from other adventurers will always be visible, no matter what your settings are.
Okay, that levels the playing field then.
Totally. It makes combat success depend on positioning, timing, prediction, not on fiddling with your graphic settings to hide things.
So putting on our expert PCP analysis hat for a second, which classes maybe suffer the most from this enforced visibility? Who relied on those obscured effects?
Yeah.
Even subtly.
Well, the primary sufferers are probably those classes whose high reward CCs already have slightly longer windups, or maybe those who really relied on the chaos of a fight to hide their initiation.
Like who?
Think about classes like Striker or Mystic, maybe. Their grabs are vital, but can sometimes be visually subtle in a big group fight. But maybe more importantly, classes like Ninja. Their whole playstyle revolves around misdirection, sudden high-impact CC from unexpected angles.
Right.
They'll definitely find their initiating CCs are now much clearer, easier for opponents to anticipate and react to.
Yeah.
This subtly favors classes with maybe clearer, more defined animation windows, or those who use super armor or frontal guards really effectively, because opponents now have that crucial fraction of a second more time to visually confirm the threat.
So it actually raises the skill ceiling for using those CCs effectively, because you have to be much more precise with your timing, knowing your opponent can definitely see it coming now.
Absolutely. Yeah, the move to standardized visibility, it really fosters a healthier competitive environment overall.
Right.
You know, when the risk of missing a key CC is because you literally couldn't see it, that's just frustrating. When it's because your timing was off, that encourages you to get better. This is definitely a net win for skill-based PvP.
Okay, moving to class-specific tweaks. Ninja got a consistency fix. It sounds like it addresses a fundamental flow problem in their combo execution.
Yeah, this is a crucial quality of life fix for ninja mains. For anyone who felt their combos were sometimes unnecessarily clunky, this is for them. The issue revolved around Demon Slash and Shadow Cut when used after utility skills like Smokescreen or Shadow Storm.
What was happening?
Basically, the intended flow was sometimes getting interrupted, or maybe the wrong skill would fire off unexpectedly. Just felt bad.
So spell out the fix for us. How does the chaining work properly now?
Okay, so now, Demon Slash is strictly controlled. It can only be used with the left-click input immediately after you use Smokescreen or Shadow Storm. That specific input now reliably leads to the intended skill. And furthermore, they fixed the bug that was preventing the normal use of Shadow Cut after those same utility skills.
Okay, so smoother transition.
Much smoother. The result is a much better transition from that mobility or utility phase, like using Smokescreen, directly into your damage and control phase with Demon Slash or Shadow Cut. It just makes the class feel more responsive, less prone to user error or weird input delays.
That sounds like a significant boost to just the overall satisfaction of playing Ninja, moving beyond just number tuning to fixing the actual mechanical feel.
Nice. What about the minor but still important system fixes?
Right, two quick but necessary integrity updates here. First, they fixed an exploit related to flintlock guns. Apparently, certain character methods allowed players to fire them without consuming ammo.
No, definitely not. That kind of fix is vital for maintaining game integrity, especially with PvE hunting being so important. Second, the community prestige system saw a little shakeup. They removed those old chat group ranking titles. You know, the gold, silver, and bronze Black Spirit icons.
What replaced them?
They've been replaced with new 90-day limited-time titles, basically as a thank you for participation. This prevents those titles from just becoming stagnant forever and kind of encourages ongoing community engagement and achievement. It's like a soft reset on who's seen as currently active and influential in the chat world.
Okay, interesting. So, with the combat structure refined and that high-level commitment established for Edana, let's pivot. Let's talk about the engine that drives all high-end progression, the economy, life skills, and what looks like a seismic shift in grinding profitability. Okay, Section 4. Arguably, this might be the most impactful part of the entire patch for the average player, maybe. We've got a major bartering overhaul and some, well, jaw-dropping drop rate buffs. Let's start with the Tier 1 trade goods refresh. This isn't just a minor tweak, is it? It looks like a massive purge of existing materials.
Oh, yeah, this is a fundamental correction to the whole bartering ecosystem. For listeners who rely on bartering for, daily income or sailing XP, Tier 1 is the entry point. It requires those refined mainland goods.
And the problem was?
Inflation, basically, and external demand. A lot of the items initially used for Tier 1 exchange had become really critical components for profitable, high-tier cooking or crafting elsewhere in the game.
So their value shot up for other things.
Exactly. As those items became super valuable elsewhere, bartering just hit bottlenecks because players couldn't afford to sacrifice them for a low-tier trade. Why trade valuable tefto for a basic barter item when you can make high-profit meals with it?
Makes sense. So the goal here was to remove items that had those competing high-value uses and replace them with materials that were maybe more plentiful but less critical to other masteries.
That's precisely the idea. Let's look at the remove list. These are the materials that low-level processors, gatherers, you should probably stop focusing on immediately for bartering purposes.
Lay them on us.
Okay, the list of items removed is like a who's who of cooking and basic processing staples. Tefto, insight mushroom, real obsidian stone, rhino meat, linen, silkworm cocoon, various grain doughs like potato, barley, rice, corn, llama hide, coal, tin ore, and various colored gems like green, purple, clear, and blue.
Wow. The removal of all those grain doughs, teff, potato, barley, that's huge. That forces cooks who relied on those to completely reevaluate their processing chain, right? It frees up massive quantities of those grains for actual food production instead of bartering.
Exactly right. It effectively separates the bartering economy from the mainline cooking and processing economy. And by removing things like linen and tin ore, they're also making sure basic crafting materials get prioritized for gear crafting or other higher tier uses. The marketplace liquidity of these specific removed items, it's now totally disconnected from bartering demand.
Okay, so what did they ADD to replace these staples? It seems like the new focus is more towards like specific desert goods and maybe more exotic materials.
Yeah, the new materials are generally less useful for mainstream crafting, which makes them pretty ideal low-stakes inputs for bartering. We now see accepted cactus thorn, cactus bark, coconut, highest grade bear hide, tough hide, high, thick fur, high, moss timber plywood, thorny branch plywood, tiger meat, and old bark.
So this signals to life skillers, basically. If you want to focus on bartering, you need to dedicate your gathering time to zones rich in desert plants, specific hides, or particular types of timber and bark.
That's the takeaway. A shift in gathering focus is needed for barterers.
And the consequence of this removal is immediate and kind of harsh for anyone who had trade orders open for the old items, right?
Oh yeah, non-negotiable consequence here. All existing trade exchange orders and marketplace buy-sell orders related to any of those removed items, they were completely reset in the patch. Wiped.
So if you had like 50,000 tefto listed, hoping for passive income.
Those orders are canceled, the silver is returned, but you need to check your inventories right now and redirect your processing flows to the new accepted materials if bartering is your game.
Good warning. Okay, moving to a related QOL thing, the mysterious trading support box also got an update. Sounds like more predictability for sailors.
It is. This is the box you get when you use the anchor menu and explore an island with your crew, right?
Yeah.
Previously, the contents were pretty random, sometimes frustratingly so. Now the contents have been standardized. You'll get 10 boxes at a set rate, and they specifically contain land materials needed for trading.
Okay, so it smooths out the supply chain for long barter trips.
Exactly. Reduces the frustration of RNG blocking your core necessities. Just note, though, if you have any old boxes you haven't opened, they'll still contain the old randomized contents. This only applies to new ones you get.
Got it. We also got a fantastic transparency update about the antique artifacts of Sesla, those life skill artifacts.
Wow.
For players trying to hit mastery milestones, knowing exactly where to farm these is huge.
This is just pure, unadulterated quality of life gold right here. They finally clarified the acquisition locations, removed all the guesswork.
So where do you get what?
Simple. If you want cooking mastery or EXP artifacts, you get them from delivering Imperial Cuisine boxes. That's it. If you want gathering EXP or mastery artifacts, they can drop from all gathering activities. And sailing EXP or mastery artifacts, specifically acquired from hunting ocean monsters, ghost ships, or doing sudden bartering events.
Nice and clear. No more wasting time chopping trees hoping for a sailing artifact.
Exactly. Focus your efforts correctly.
Okay, one last life skill note. A clarification on gathering tools. Sounds like they fixed a confusing tooltip about speed reduction.
Yeah, they clarified that players get an inherent mega 8-second reduction to gathering time, even if you don't have a tool equipped. Just baseline.
Okay.
This base reduction was apparently kind of obscured or poorly described in the tooltips for contribution point tools and the high-end Menos, Logia, and Magic tools. The improved description now makes it clear that the tool's benefits are in addition to this 8-second base reduction.
Yeah.
So you understand the true value you're getting from investing in better tools. ### guild and item value adjustments.
All right, let's talk about a guild item sunsetting. The Star of Furia items used in some specific Guild War systems, they're not permanent anymore. And this triggered a massive compensation payout.
Correct. The Star of Euphoria items, both the personal and the guild versions, have been converted into 7-day timed items. This prevents guilds from just hoarding them indefinitely.
Okay, so what happened to the existing ones?
As part of this change, all existing Guild Star of Euphoria items were immediately deleted from guild treasuries when the patch hit.
Deleted. But there was compensation, right?
Huh.
10 billion guild funds per star sounds enormous.
It is enormous. It's a huge, immediate injection of liquidity designed to stimulate guild activity right now. For every single deleted star, guilds receive 10 billion guild funds straight into the treasury.
Okay, what's the immediate strategic use case for a guild that suddenly finds itself sitting on potentially tens or even hundreds of billions of extra guild silver?
Well, several immediate impacts. First, think territory war bids. Guilds now have way more capital to bid on higher tier territories in Node War and Conquest. Big advantage there.
Right.
Second, immediate use on guild skills and buffs. This money can fund massive purchases of things like guild rations, maybe guild craft items, accelerating progression for the entire membership. And if a guild was part of a federation, don't worry, the funds were split according to the established tax rate. So allies got their share.
So it's basically a monetary reward for past participation,
Yeah.
immediately deployable for future dominance.
Pretty much sums it up. A massive stimulus package for active guilds.
Yeah.
#TAG PvE grinding zone adjustments. Deboreka drop rate hype.
Okay, stop the presses.
Yeah.
Seriously, this is the section that I think defines the PvE meta for maybe the next quarter, maybe longer. The drop rates for Deboreka accessories, that super high-end, incredibly sought-after, brutally difficult to enhance gear has been dramatically increased in the Edenay castles. This feels like a massive shift in gear accessibility.
If you are an endgame player, or even just approaching endgame, your entire weekly schedule, your grinding plans, they must now revolve around these zones. The developers have clearly signaled an intent to make Deboreka accessories significantly more attainable, and the numbers, they're just staggering.
Staggering how?
We are moving away from what felt like difficult multi-month RNG grinds for maybe one drop towards highly accelerated farming potential. This is huge.
Okay, give us the breakdown. Let's start with Orbita, the sort of entry-level Eduno zone.
Right, Orbita. It received a respectable buff, but relatively modest compared to the others. The Deboreka ring drop rate there increased by approximately 2x, so double. And the Destruction Fragment Rujin drop rate went up by about 1.25x. It's a good starting point for players maybe just breaking into that 300 AP territory.
Okay, 2 times is nice, but the real concentration of endgame players is probably going to be shifting hard towards Tenebrium and Jephoris, right?
Oh, absolutely. Tenebrium is now a massive prize fight zone. Get this. The Deboreka ring drop rate there increased by a gigantic 3.33x. And the Deboreka earring drop rate increased by 2x. So this zone is now extremely competitive, offering huge potential for both types of Deboreka accessories.
Okay, 3.3 times for the ring. Now, Jephoris Castle, that's the top tier grinding zone, the one requiring peak gear. What happened there? It sounds like it got the most incredible buffs.
This is where it gets honestly kind of insane. This is peak profitability right now. The general mobs in Jephoris, they saw the Deboreka ring rate jump by 5x, 5 times.
5 times.
And the earring rate jumped by 2.5x. But wait, it gets better. If you focus on the high-value mobs in Jephoris, Beelzebub, Terror, Metis, the Shadow Priest, the Shadow Knight Urim, the increases are even more extreme. Beelzebub, for instance, saw the Deboreka ring rate increase by up to 5.55x.
5.5 times the chance for a Deboreka ring from the key mobs.
And the earring by up to 2.78x.
Wow. Okay. That's a genuine game changer. It almost risks severe market saturation, doesn't it? What's the immediate strategic implication for the market? Should players be trying to enhance these things immediately with the event crons we'll talk about? Or should they sell the base accessories now before the supply just completely overwhelms demand?
That is the absolute ultimate question, and we should circle back to it in the conclusion. But the short answer, yeah, supply shock seems inevitable. Previously, base Dabrika accessories held immense value, precisely because they were so incredibly rare.
Right.
This 5.55x increase means the market is going to be flooded with base items. Their individual price will inevitably drop, no question. But the sheer volume of items dropping means the total silver earned per hour in this zone is going to skyrocket.
So if you need a base item, prices might soon be more palatable if you're sitting on a mountain of silver.
Now is the time to start thinking about buying the enhancement materials you'll need to succeed when those base prices maybe dip, or maybe buy the base items themselves. It shifts the whole economy.
They also made a small QOL fix in Jefferus related to those Belzerbub mobs. While minor, sounds like it'll make long grinding sessions a bit less annoying.
Yeah, thankfully. They reduced the number of annoying jump attacks used by Belzerbub in Jeffers Castle. Anyone who's spent hours grinding there knows those repetitive, long animation CCs or attacks just disrupt your rotation flow.
Totally.
Reducing these helps ensure that your 5.55x profitability increase isn't negated by frustrating monster mechanics. The grind rotation should now be smoother, more predictable, letting you capitalize on those insane drop rates.
Okay. And beyond Dabrika, enhancement material drops also saw a lift, specifically for Ella Serban's landscape paint, across various high-end Elvia zones too.
Yeah, that's the other side of the coin. The landscape paint is crucial for certain enhancement recipes and artifact exchanges. By boosting the drop rates across zones like Sulphur Mine, Histria, Ash Forest, Tunkret Ruins, they're basically supporting the increase in accessory supply, making it easier to get the other things you need.
And was there a standout zone for that paint?
Oh yeah, the highest increase was massive. Something Thought Cemetery received a staggering 4x drop rate increase for the landscape paint. 4 times. Ash Forest also saw a respectable increase, up to 1.35x.
This tells a really clear story then.
Yeah.
The goal is absolutely to drive enhancement success rates, or at least attempts. They're giving us the accessories in droves, and now they're boosting the materials needed to try and upgrade them.
Absolutely. The entire system is being primed for massive enhancement activity. But, as you know, enhancement requires not just accessories and paint. It needs cronstones. It needs fail stacks.
Which leads us perfectly into the weekly events, because it looks like they're explicitly designed to provide exactly those resources. Okay, so we have 5 concurrent events kicking off from November 13th. And yeah, they seem really targeted at players who have saved up either a ton of silver or a bunch of pearls. We need to prioritize these because some offer just unprecedented access to enhancement materials.
Totally agree. Let's start with probably the largest immediate silver sink this game has seen in quite a long time. Shakatu's Silver Shop Dazzling Box. Hashtag tag day. Shakatu's Silver Shop Dazzling Box. The Silver Sink.
All right, this event runs for 2 weeks, November 13th to November 27th.
Right.
Let's talk cost and limit first. This definitely targets players sitting on serious amounts of banked silver.
Oh yeah, the cost is specifically designed to drain capital from the wealthiest players. Each Dazzling Box costs 1 million silver. That's 1 billion silver per box.
Billion. Wow. And the limit?
The limit is 10 boxes per family per week, with the reset happening every Sunday at 23.00 UTC plus 8. So that's a potential total weekly expenditure of 10 billion silver if you decide to max out your purchases.
Okay, why would a high-end player who usually saves silver very carefully for market buys or specific enhancement clicks, why would they gamble 10 billion silver a week on loot boxes? What possibly justifies that risk?
The potential upside is, well, it's astronomical. It's fundamentally game-altering if you hit the jackpot. We're talking about ultra-rare rewards that let you completely bypass the usual grind.
Like what? What are the highlights?
Okay, highlights include a chance, mind you, for massive cronstone bundles. The patch notes mention up to 100,000 cronstones in a single pull.
100,000 cron.
Yeah. Even smaller bundles are obviously highly valuable for enhancing. Plus, you're guaranteed to get dazzling treasure boxes, which themselves hold various high-value goods.
But the real jackpot, the reason you actually spend the 10 billion, that's the chance at the guaranteed max-tier accessory or life skill outfit.
Precisely. That's the dream pull. The ultra-rare drops are either a Tetrast Manos Accessory Selection Box or a Tetrast Manos Life Skill Outfit Selection Box. Tet Manos items are notoriously difficult, time-consuming, and incredibly resource-intensive to make yourself.
So hitting one of these
Instantly justifies the weekly cost many times over. Provides a massive competitive advantage in life skills or utility depending on what you pick. It's huge.
And for the player who wins the absolute ultimate lottery, there's even a mechanism to instantly recoup their losses or even secure a profit.
Yes. The existence of the Diamond of Dawn drop is critical to the psychology of the Silver Sink. This item sells directly to an NPC vendor for 10 billion silver, flat.
So you could potentially break even instantly.
Or better. It means there's a chance to not only get back your entire weekly expenditure instantly, but potentially fund several future weeks of box purchases. This whole event is a highly effective, albeit high-risk, strategy. It removes silver from the economy, yes, but it also delivers massive enhancement goods right back to potentially the top 1% of players willing to gamble. Hashtag B Shaka2's additional support I, the PvP grind boost.
Okay, moving on. The next event, Shika2's additional support I, provides more guaranteed income and some double drops for participation. This runs until November 27th, mostly. Let's start with the guaranteed income stream from Red Battlefield, RBF.
Right, RBF is getting a fantastic injection of reliable daily silver here. By doing the new daily and family quests from the Black Spear, they're focused on RBF participation, you earn evidence of the battlefield tokens. 25 for a win, 10 for a loss.
And the reward.
The daily quest reward is superb, especially for the low effort involved. You get 200 mils in silver, 100 phantom powder, and your choice of high-value perfumes, courage, or deep sea.
200 million silver guaranteed just for daily RBF participation. That's phenomenal. That's money that can feed right back into the Shika2 Silverbox sink or just fund regular marketplace purchases.
Exactly. It creates a really reliable silver foundation for both PvP-focused players and even PvE players who don't mind jumping into RBF for a bit.
Yeah.
If you participate consistently, that's over 1.4 billion silver guaranteed over the week. That's crucial for maybe the mid-level player who needs to keep pace with the potential hyperinflation caused by those Deboreka buffs.
Good point. Okay, for large-scale PvP, Node and Conquest War rewards are being doubled. But there's an interesting catch. It seems targeted at the non-elite players.
Yeah, the incentive is strong. All individual rewards you get during the event period are doubled. We're talking Spirits of Endeavor, Fighting Spirit, honors, prizes, all doubled. Excellent for rewarding participation and effort across the board.
Yeah.
However, the patch notes explicitly state that the top 5% performers and the first-place performers in these wars are excluded from this doubling effect.
Huh. Why do that?
It's a strategic exclusion. It focuses the bonus reward squarely on the mid to high performing players and maybe emerging guilds. It encourages broader engagement without simply showering even more rewards on the guilds who already dominate the weekly landscape. Just note, these double rewards are distributed a bit later on November 20th.
Interesting approach. Okay, finally, in this support event, World Boss activity is also getting a temporary boost for some key items.
Yep, crucial PvE boosts for 2 key bosses. When you defeat Vel during the event, you'll receive 2x Vel's gift bundles, both high and medium tiers. That doubles your chance at high-value drops like Vel's Heart.
Nice. And Garmath.
And for Garmath, there's a new repeatable weekly quest. You get it from NPC Kukao near the Garmath's Nest Manager. Completing it grants 1 additional Roaring Garmath's reward bundle. So again, effectively doubling your chances at getting Garmath's Heart for 2 weeks.
Okay, so for any player still missing those crucial progression items, Vel's or Garmath's Heart, this is a high-priority, limited-time window to really focus on those bosses.
Absolutely. Maximize those kills while the double rewards are active. Hashtag Shiri C, November Moon's Blessing, the pearl spending event.
All right, so if the Shika2 box is targeted Saved Silver, the November Moon's Blessing event targets Saved Pearls. It encourages spending with tiered, high-value rewards, and this one runs longer, until December 4th.
Exactly. This is an incentive mechanism pure and simple, designed to convert latent pearl deposits sitting in accounts into immediate enhancement utility for players. Rewards are tiered based on how many pearls you spend, up to a cap of 18,500 pearls spent.
Okay, but the crucial mechanic here seems to be the reset function.
That's the key for the big spenders. After you reach that final 18,500 pearl tier and claim the reward, the entire blessing track can be reset 4 times per family.
4 times. So you can cycle through the reward tiers 5 times total.
5 times total, yes, assuming you have the pearl budget, of course.
Wow. Okay, what are the must-have rewards in those tiers that would justify someone cycling through potentially 4 resets? That's a lot of pearls.
It is, but the rewards are heavily focused on enhancement feedstock, which is exactly what players need right now. High-end rewards include premium enhancement boxes, box advice boxes specifically, plus 150, plus 180, and even plus 200 stacks. Those are incredibly valuable for high-tier enhancement attempts, especially on those newly dropped Deboreka accessories.
Right, those high stacks are hard to come by.
Very. We also see a new material, Origin of Faded Darkness, dropping from this event up to 10 per tier, per reset. That's crucial for certain things. But honestly, the most valuable items for the true endgame player trying to push P and Debarekas might be the Ocean Marks.
Okay, explain the value of those ocean marks. What do they do?
Ocean Marks are a special currency you get from this event, and you use them to exchange for ultra high tier enhancement containers. Think like the ultimate premium enhancement box.
And what's inside those?
These top-end boxes contain a chance at immense Kronstone, amounts the notes mention up to 10,000 Krons in one go. Or they can contain multiple premium weapon outfit boxes. So, given the insane Debareka drop rates we just talked about and the simultaneous focus on enhancement, the Moon's Blessing provides the necessary safety nets, the Krons and the fail stacks, and the high-tier materials to immediately pursue those PE and Debareka accessories. It's perfectly timed to fuel the profitability from the grinding buffs.
Makes sense. They give you the gear, then they give you the means to enhance it if you spend.
Pretty much the loop, yeah. Hashtag tag Deddy. Take a photo with your personal assistant. The QOL integration event.
Okay, next up, something a bit lighter. A fun, low-stakes event that seems designed to showcase a new quality-of-life cosmetic feature. Customizing your personal assistant.
Indeed. This is kind of cute. The personal assistant, your maid, or your butler can now apparently be customized with specific outfits and even poses or emotes. It integrates this idea of your helper being more like a genuine buddy or partner in the game world.
Adds a layer of cosmetic depth for role players or people who just like immersion.
Exactly.
And participating is super simple, right?
Yeah.
Just a screenshot.
Yep. Take a screenshot. You can use Strel plus U, make a GIF, or even a short video showing your character and your newly customized assistant. Then you just upload it to the official forum under the screenshot video board. Make sure to use the prefix Tidelo, which means buddy, and the hashtag autoactivity. The barrier to entry is extremely low.
And for that minimal effort, the rewards are actually pretty decent utility items. 5x item drop rate, increased scrolls, and 5x Sloran's secret book.
Yeah, excellent value for just taking a picture. These are utility items that literally every player can use, regardless of where they are in progression. It's a smart way to promote the new cosmetic feature while giving back genuinely useful consumables. Hashtag Shag, S-tag eHarvest Sale, new returning player focus.
Okay, and finally for events, we have the Harvest Sale. This seems like a clear effort to expand the player base, maybe bring back some returning players, especially during this period of economic boom and excitement.
That's exactly what it looks like. It's running for 2 weeks, slightly different dates for a website versus Steam users, but basically November 13th to November 27th or 28th. The focus is purely on accessibility.
How accessible?
The base travel-in edition of the game is getting a dramatic 70% off discount. That basically removes the monetary barrier to entry for brand new players.
70% off is huge.
It is. And the higher tier Explorer and Conqueror editions, along with the upgrade bundles between them, are all 50% off. So yeah, given the current hype around the Debareka buffs and the massive economic shifts happening, this sale is perfectly timed to bring in new players who might want to try and catch up quickly or just jump into the action.
All right, outside of the big meta shifts and events, the quality of life section in these notes is actually pretty extensive. It shows a strong focus on polish and improving the long-term user experience, particularly it seems for players who manage lots of different characters and presets. Let's start with the UI preset system update.
Yeah, this is a huge efficiency boost for anyone who's alt-heavy, plays multiple characters seriously. The integrated preset UI got a much-needed cleanup. Functionally, the big change is that it now automatically hides locked slots. Meaning, for instance, if you've only purchased 5 pet preset slots, only those 5 will actually be visible in the UI. It reduces the visual clutter from all those grayed out, unusable boxes, just cleaner.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
And the visual updates help with quickly identifying presets. That's key when you're swapping between setups constantly.
Exactly. They added the current character's portrait prominently to the preset UI, which helps orientation. And crucially, they added specific icons right next to the title of each preset type, like a little sword icon for gear, a pet icon for pets, a fairy icon for fairy, etc.
So visual cues instead of just text.
Right. Your brain processes the icon instantly, enabling much faster preset swapping and hopefully minimizing those annoying accidental selection errors when you're in a hurry.
Okay, now for accessibility and controller support fixes. The list here is massive. It really suggests a huge commitment to the console player base, or anyone using a joystick on PC, trying to ensure parity with the keyboard and mouse experience.
It really does. It shows the developers are taking peripheral users very seriously now. They addressed a lot of long-standing issues with text display, things like text getting clipped or cut off, awkward abbreviations appearing in complex interfaces like the marketplace or the house management screens. Little details, but they matter hugely for readability on maybe a smaller TV screen or just with controller navigation.
And more technically, they fixed numerous snapping issues.
Yeah, snapping issues can be incredibly frustrating for controller users. What specifically does that mean in this context? What did they fix? So snapping refers to how the cursor, controlled by the joystick, accurately selects and moves between different elements in a menu or UI. They fixed these issues across several critical UIs. That includes enhancement interfaces, where precise selection is absolutely vital, the horse growth UI, and the item exchange UI. A bad snap, where the cursor jumps unexpectedly, can lead to a really costly mistake. So these fixes directly improve player security and the overall experience when using a controller for high-stakes actions.
Definitely important. Were there any functional additions specifically for controller players in this patch?
Yes, one notable one. They added the Form Stone Management menu, which is used for gear progression, dealing with Caphras stones and such, directly into the circular quick menu, the ring menu.
Oh, that's handy.
It's essential for controller users. It brings a critical maintenance function right into the easy access radial menu, eliminating the need to constantly delve deep into the main ESC menu structure. And alongside that, they also corrected dozens of those little key guides or button prompts that were apparently displaying incorrectly across various screens, just ensuring the in-game tutorial actually matches the controller input required. Lots of polish there.
Okay, moving to world and map adjustments. A few amusing and structural changes here. Arsha 2 server got a name change.
Yeah, fittingly. The highly competitive Arsha 2 server has been appropriately renamed to Arsha Anonymous. This follows the conclusion of the Masterclass 2025 competition. The name change really reflects its status now as a permanent high-level PvP battlefield where competitors often seek anonymity in their fierce combat.
Makes sense. And my favorite small detail from the notes, the bartering manager on Tigris Island, Perugia, was apparently because of player activity.
Haha. Yeah, though, this is a great kind of humorous nod to the player base's impact on the world. The bartering manager, Perugia, was indeed moved to a quieter location on the island because the increased fishing activity right where he used to stand was apparently making his working environment too noisy or crowded.
That's hilarious.
It's a fun example of dynamic world management based on actual player behavior patterns.
We also saw some fixes for auto-pathing, which is always welcome for just getting around smoothly.
Yes, always good to ensure efficiency for travelers. They fixed auto-pathing specifically from Larau Island, making sure it now correctly utilizes the cave route there, and they fixed some pathing issues around one of the doors at the High Command headquarters. Small fixes, but they smooth out daily movement flow.
And finally, two minor movement QOL changes that should smooth out interactions with mounts and helpers.
Right. First, calling your mount horse, camel, donkey, elephant is now slightly less jarring visually. The distance the mount instantly teleports to you when you call it has been reduced by 20%. So it appears a bit closer to you. It's a slight aesthetic tweak, maybe a tiny convenience boost.
Okay. And the second one sounds like a major annoyance solved.
Oh yeah, this is huge for social spaces. Personal assistants, your maids and butlers no longer push other adventurers when they're summoned to the same location.
Finally.
Right. No more accidentally displacing your guildmates during world bosses or events, or worse, pushing people off precarious ledges when you just wanted to access your storage. A true victory for cooperative social play. Hashtag #TagToverPlayer. Conclusion and final meta assessment.
Okay, wow. That was an extremely deep dive into what turned out to be a really dense, high-impact patch. Let's try and quickly recap the core impact of those three major themes we saw. The Adana's Authority structural overhaul, those massive Deboreka and Grinding Zone buffs, and the sheer abundance of economic and enhancement-focused events.
Yes, summing it up, the Adana revamp fundamentally stabilizes high-end PvP. It enforces commitment, penalizes time wasters, and nicely monetizes the drops for PvE players. The CC visibility change also contributes, creating a fairer, more skill-based competitive environment. However, the economic shifts are absolutely the true drivers of this week's meta, no question.
So given the magnitude of everything we discussed, how does this update ultimately lean? Is it more Encouraging PvE grinding or more about rebalancing PvP? Where's the weight?
Okay, so while the structural PvP changes were necessary, significant, and good for the game's health, the Adana penalties, the CC visibility, even the double node war rewards, the sheer overwhelming magnitude of the economic incentives completely overshadows them this week.
Because of the Deborika rates.
Primarily, yes. The up to 5.55x increase in Deborika accessory drop rates in Jefferus, that alone is monumental. Combine that with multiple simultaneous events designed explicitly to provide enhancement materials, the Shakatu Silver Boxes, the Moon's Blessing Pearl event, the Garmith and Vel doubling, it overwhelmingly pushes players towards encouraging PvE grinding and trying their luck with enhancement attempts.
So the path to power, and certainly profit this week, is clearly marked. Get yourself to Jefferus if you can handle it. Or spend your saved resources on those event boxes to get the sacks and crons needed to enhance the accessories that are now, relatively speaking, dropping like candy.
The economic opportunities are simply too large to ignore right now. The systems are perfectly aligned for it, the grinding zones are hyper-profitable, the events provide the enhancement safety nets and resources, and the silver sinks are in place to try and manage the inflation while rewarding high-risk players. Which leads us perfectly into the final provocative thought we like to leave you with each week. Something for you to consider. The value of Cron stones is clearly massively elevated this week via these events, right? Shakatu boxes offering potentially 100,000 Crons is unprecedented. Now, given that the raw drop rate for Deborika items has increased so dramatically, likely flooding the market with base accessories soon, the immediate critical decision for the highly motivated player isn't just where to grind anymore, it's this. Do you sell those high-value base Deborika drops now, potentially capitalizing before the market fully tanks from the supply increase? Or do you immediately try to enhance them yourself, leveraging the temporary flood of potentially cheaper Cron stones coming from these events?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Which strategy actually maximizes your profit in this brand new, high-risk, high-reward enhancement economy? Is it capitalizing on the short-term drop rate spike by selling the base items fast? Or is it leveraging the temporary abundance of enhancement aids to secure a massive enhancement gain yourself? Something to think about.
Indeed. How was that Black Desert Patch update summary for the week, everyone? We really hope this information helps you prepare for all these changes and hopefully maximize your farming profits. Go out there, hit those Deborika zones, maybe gamble on some boxes, and try to maximize your weekly gains. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.